Hi, my name is Sherry McKeon, and this is Cross Potent, and this is going to be another episode of Farming by the Moon, horoscopes for plants, and this is going to be your December 2018 farming horoscope. So we start out December 2018 with the Sun in Sagittarius, way up here in the little corner. The Moon in Libra, with Venus going into, it's doing its Scorpio thing now. It's been doing a retrograde through Libra and Scorpio and whatnot. Now is a real good time to focus on your soil. I noticed here in the Mississippi Valley where I'm at, there's a lot of legumes, which are like little daisy-like flowers all over the place. Those are very good for putting nitrogen back into the soil, even though they're a weed. The settlers brought them over like 200 years ago with them to purposely spread them around in the winter and around the edges of the fields to give them more nitrogen. So legumes, I looked them up. Oh my gosh, there are so many. Also comfrey and nettles, which I'll get into in a minute. But vetch is a good one. Peas and beans. Peas and beans. Oh my gosh. There are so many. Black-eyed, southern peas, cow peas, Crowder peas, cream peas, bush peas. I'm sure I'm missing a few here. Flat pod peas are good for stir fry. Flat pod peas. I already warned my husband that I am going to grow some in the spring. There's also these really funny ones called yard-long beans that grow 3 foot long. But they're best when they're about 18 inches long, when they're still like snappy and young. And there's lots of ground cover stuff. So now's a good time to get the seeds from all that. Gather up your seeds, dry them real good. Get ready to throw them around your edges of your garden in the spring. Another thing about Scorpio getting into this late time of December, usually Scorpio is good for breeding, like rabbits and whatnot. You don't want to breed your horses pretty much now. Horses take, I think, 336 days to gestate, and you'll be getting your colt right in the dead of winter. And it's not too good to keep the colt in the barn all winter. They can get sick and stuff. You want to be born in the spring, so now is not, even though normally you would, now it's too much in the winter, getting too cold, and you wouldn't want to breed them. So just keep that in mind if you're a horse person. It takes about 11 months, as far as I know, on a horse. Okay, now this whole Scorpio energy, this is time to do your soil, okay? Nettle and comfrey are two more kind of, what you might say, companion plants, I think is the term here. For composting, usually you keep them in a corner somewhere. I know nettles, you're like, oh, why would I want a nettle? But they have so much nitrogen and phosphorus for your plants. What the farmers around here generally do is keep them in the corner where they can just get big and wild and leafy. And then they take those and sprinkle the leaves all over right now in this Scorpio energy. Perfect time to get the seeds, the leaves. You want those leaves to break down as the rains and the snows come all winter. And that will go right into your soil all winter. So it's like a top dressing over your garden area with these leaves. Comfrey, I mentioned. Nettle, I mentioned. I don't think I wrote another one down, but those are two really good ones to have a little supply in the back corner, and don't be too crazy about chopping all your weeds down, because weeds are good. They were brought here by the settlers because they're good for your soil, so we might as well keep using them. Also, it's a good time to break up your little clovers and make sure they're down deep under the freeze layer. Here in Illinois, we don't get much, frost down into the soil, so most of the clover is fine. It goes crazy here, but you might want to like break your clovers are really good for nitrogen and phosphorus, especially red clover. Tons of phosphorus in that one. All right, tends to accumulate around the roots. Okay, on to other things. We got Mercury direct, thank goodness. That's the communication planet, getting going. Mars is also conjunct Neptune that day, so there's some interesting energies. I like to think of Pisces as kind of like a scatter shot or like a debris field of something that's crashed where it's like things are all scattered, but yet there's sort of a weird pattern to it all. To me, that's a Pisces. So that conjunct around this time and this new moon here in Sagittarius is going to be very interesting. I would pay attention to your intuitions, and now's a good time to instigate and get your projects going and get your thoughts organized about what supplies you might need for your projects and stuff. Now is a really good time to start getting some projects going. I am actually about to put in a new attic ladder to get some more storage space up in my attic on the other end of the house. So we have a little project going here, a little miniature construction project, you might say. Should be kind of neat. Then we're getting around to the new moon. Oh, this Sagittarius new moon. Sagittarius is the centaur that teaches, so definitely teach the kids something. With some of your projects, teach them how to organize the tools and teach them about the tools and teach them about the techniques and stuff of your projects. Like hair cutting. Me and a good friend of mine tend to do each other's hair, and we tend to do the kids' hair and stuff. So we've been teaching some of the younger girls how to, basically what cutting hair is all about. And also I have on here cooking. Also, there is kind of an art to slaughtering animals. Skinning them, or if it's chickens, plucking them and whatnot. And teaching kids kind of the art to doing that in the most efficient way is a good, handy life skill on the farm. Then we're moving on from the new moon, which is the beginning of all those projects. And we're getting to a Capricorn here. Now, Earth is kind of heavy. And I think with all the activities been going on, everybody's going to be pretty tired on this weekend. And this is making harmonious aspects with the planet Uranus, which is now an Earth sign. So I would say this is a good time to renew your mind while the body rests. I've heard that phrase often, and I like that. And that's what reminds me of that day. More Capricorn energy would be like checking the buildings, the walls, the fences, building furniture, that sort of thing. Into Aquarius, continuing your projects. And maybe experiment cooking with some of your frozen vegetables that you've frozen from your garden. Aquarius, very experimental. Perhaps experiment with your vegetables with new recipes, new kind of stir fry, new kind of fajita. Throw in some interesting coriander, make some kind of interesting dish. There's lots of resources on the internet for that. With Mercury going into Sagittarius, this is going to be a time with lots more Sagittarius on top of Jupiter and Sagittarius. On top of this full moon sprouting Sagittarius all over the place. This is definitely travel, study, teach. Also, making wine and brewing, microbrewing beer, making mead out of honey and sweet stuff, and brewing things along those lines. Very well aspected for that. Let's see. And then this Pisces, there's an odd, semi-square between Uranus and Neptune here. I have a feeling on this kind of tense half moon in Pisces, you might be very tired this weekend. And then there's a lot of pleasant energy, but not real energetic energy on the 16th with Venus sextile Saturn and Mars sextile Uranus even though that's Aries, I have a feeling people are going to want to do a lot more resting because we've had a lot of stuff going on for months and months and months. And finally, this is actually a very quiet month, believe it or not. So, yeah, rest up, organize your project areas, get your area. With Pisces, you want your environment organized and more making you happy. Because Pisces are very sensitive to that. They're sensitive anyway, you know. Let's see. Aries now. Aries, great energy to start dividing up chores with the little ones. Teaching the little ones, you know, assigning chores to the little ones. And getting help with big projects. Recruiting the kids. I recruited some of my neighbor kids to help me move a patio. Well, like you say, gazebo. You know, group think with this. Your head is going to be your most valuable. With Aries, the way they think is their valuable asset. They have great minds, and this is a great time to draw people out and get their good ideas. Taurus, you know, Venus, which did this retrograde thing through Scorpio and all that, it's in Scorpio, but it's out of shadow right here, opposite this moon in Taurus. So this is going to be sprucing up, like, your Christmas decorations, you know, sprucing up. Probably want to trim the bushes before you do the Christmas lights. Trim things up a little bit before you get them all up. And then go to town with the lights. And also, with this Taurus energy, make sure you have supplies, the wrapping paper, tape, ribbon, all that. Holiday cards. There is North Node has now moved into Cancer, which is a lot more family orientated. People are going to feel much love getting a card in the mail. And there's lots of resources to get addresses. Get those addresses, get a mailing list, and mail some cards through the actual mail with a little mailbox with a little flag that goes up. Don't forget the flag up. And you know, I think a lot of people would really appreciate that, especially maybe people who have been down on their luck or just down in the dumps and need a little cheering up. Great time to perk them up with a little card in the mail. It's a great energy for that. Then we've got the Sun into Capricorn, very earthy and solid. But I still think with all that Sagittarius floating around, it's going to be more like going for a drive with the kids to go look at all the lights, going somewhere to see a big lit up Christmas tree, like making traditions and making memories and making things that are going to last. This is going to be a Gemini moon, and that's coming up on the full moon here. The Gemini moon is communicative and fun-loving, wanting to be active. So driving around would be a great idea for this Friday. The full moon. Call everyone and tell them you love them on this full moon. In Cancer. That's what the Cancer full moon's all about, you know. I could tell you all this crazy stuff about stars and planets and stuff, but to be honest with you, Cancer, it's about hugging somebody. It's about telling your kids you love them. It's about calling your grandparents and letting them know you love them. Hug every person in your neighborhood and tell them you're there for them. Like, just, you know, get back to feeling a hug. A big hug is just like the best thing. You know, or a good old handshake. You know, just that human contact, okay? That's what this full moon's all about. I can't explain it in like crazy astrological terms better. It's in real life, you know. It's happening in real life. Okay, anyway. So, after this, we got all this energy, Leo on Christmas. This is show off city, okay? Go ahead and show off. Show it all off. This is going to be a time to take pictures like crazy. Make them extra theatric pictures. Go ahead and clown around. Just do it. It'll be a great memory for times to come. Do rabbit ears behind somebody when you take a picture. Just have fun with it. And make some memories with this Leo. As we get into the Virgo here, you're going to want to clean and make sure all the leftovers are all situated. You're probably going to have tons of leftovers. So again, with this Earth energy trining Uranus, which is in Earth, I have a feeling this last quarter is going to, in Libra, people are going to feel like just kind of kicking back and watching a movie and renew the mind while the body rests. I love that saying, renew the mind while the body rests. This is probably going to be a rest up weekend here. If I would say probably not venture too far. And it's about rebalancing. I have negotiating and allow for negotiation, allow for rebalancing. This is going to be the dark phase, the balsamic phase of the moon. Allow for some negotiation and some wiggle room and some flexibility and be more fun with it. And again, with Scorpio here and the Mars moving into Aries, look into making something interesting, like pickles that you've never made before, or a cheesecake, or a bundt cake, or a rum cake. A rum cake is kind of like a bundt cake you just pour rum on. Rum cakes are so awesome. You gotta do a rum cake. I would do a rum cake for sure anywhere in this whole week. Okay. The thing about the dark moon on Sagittarius, the dark moon, I always want a balsamic dark moon coming up on the eclipse. Eclipse over here, January 5th in Capricorn, which is kind of like you really should make a lot of room and have a garage sale or something with this eclipse. I know this is for December, but I'm just warning you guys. This is going to be a hard eclipse in the winter, a winter eclipse. I would say go ahead and preemptively donate and preemptively have a garage sale and preemptively give things away. And by the time you get to this eclipse, it'll be like a breeze. You maybe clean out a junk drawer, be about all you have left to do. Because this is an eclipse, you really can't escape that energy. And it is kind of going to be a big shakeup. But I would say make room for new things to come. Clear things out. Really make room. Open things up to allow that energy to come back in. And one thing to watch out for with Sag in the dark moon, watch out for rude language. Watch out for bad language. Watch out for being a little more harsh than you thought you really meant to be. People might fling things out, or just, it's easy to type things late at night and you just want to type something real quick and not really think about it. And in the morning it's like, wow, did I just really send that off? So be very careful with this Sagittarius. They're very kind of flippant and mouthy and sarcastic, and usually it's funny and comical and they're a laugh and it's great. But being tired and cranky and all that, sometimes you need to look for the spirit inside of everything, and see everything as its spirit and not just as a target to shoot at, because this is the archer and he can shoot a bad comment at you. So that's the month, and I hope that was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you next month.